What's up, Potato Fam? For tonight, I'm going to the one, the only Hollywood Improv. Now, I wish I could have gotten more footage from the last shot that you saw, but unfortunately, as you can imagine, with most comedy events and a lot of events in general, they do not allow you to either A, bring in your phone, look at it, or anything, or B, what they're doing now, and this is actually what they did at the Improv. A lot of places are starting to do this too, where you get this odd bag that you put your phone in and it locks up, and they give it to you, so you can hold on to the bag, and you can still get like calls and texts in the bag, like it doesn't block Wi-Fi or data, but the bag is basically like near impossible to open. So at the end of the Improv, what happened is after the comedy event happened, which is awesome, obviously, like I mentioned earlier in this video, the Improv is one of the most iconic venues here in LA for comedy. I feel like the main two are like the Comedy Store and the Improv. And after, I got out of the performance and everything, they have this odd, like, almost like a UFO, this saucer thing, and they take this device and tap this ball that's on the bag. It's a really weird thing. They tap this ball that's on the bag, and then it, like, opens up the bag and you can get your phone. Kind of odd, but I might as well just say that for this video, in case you go to the Improv and you're like, why are they giving me this weird bag for my phone? It's to make sure that 100%, because again, it's very, like, near impossible to open. They want to make sure that no one's recording or filming things, because for a lot of comedians, obviously, they test out new material at places like the Improv. Now, the Improv is one of my favorite places to go to when it comes to comedy. I've already done a bunch of videos about comedy. Stand-up comedy, in my opinion, is one of the hardest and most impressive performing arts out there when it comes to like music or acting or whatever. Stand-up comedy is easily one of the hardest. And I will say, I do have a link listed below in the description to a video I did about 7 things I wish I knew before going to a stand-up comedy club, in case you've never gone to one. But the Improv is an amazing spot. Now, as you saw from the footage, when you first get there, they have basically two sections, right? They have the main Improv, like the building, and then off to the left is where they have the kiosks to purchase tickets and check in. Now, luckily for that night, I actually did get free tickets, so I had to just go to that kind of almost open area. Almost reminds me a little bit of like a courtyard. And obviously they have like ping pong, they had cornhole. So it's kind of cool that you kind of be outside and play some games while you're just waiting, to see your favorite comedian or see that, the performance happen. So got the tickets, basically hung out in that kind of courtyard area, and then went inside. When you get inside to the Improv, again, as you saw from the footage, they have this one section off to your right where you can grab like a meal. And so you can even go in and grab food and eat there and leave and never even see a show. Now, to be honest, I've never gotten the food there, so I can't say if it's good or not. But, considering that there were a decent amount of people there just going there to eat, I assume it's pretty good. Obviously, it's tough to say exactly, but maybe I'll do a video where I actually get food at the Improv and see how it comes out. And then, obviously, off to the left, you have the bar. Now, as you can imagine, before the comedy show, most people just go to the bar because there's two main rooms when it comes to the Improv. You have the upstairs and the downstairs. And I was at the downstairs one, so I was like, perfect. I'll just grab a drink, hang out, and then go into the comedy event. Now, one thing I will say, and I mentioned this in that video about 7 things I wish I knew before going to a stand-up comedy show, is that in case you didn't know, it's a staple for every comedy event that is a 2-drink minimum. What this means is that when you're actually watching the comedy performance, not only do you have to buy your ticket, sometimes you can get them discounted or for free, which is why I suggest get on like the mailing list for the Improv and everything. But you then have to buy 2 drinks on top of that. So even if you're sober, even if you're like, what? I'm not even drinking though. Why do I have to buy 2 drinks? You have to get like 2 waters or something. And I will say that bar outside at the Improv, or kind of in the building, but outside of the the comedy room, that does not count towards your 2-drink minimum. So let's say if you get like a nice drink at the bar, you go in to the comedy event, they seat you, you're right there. Unfortunately, that does not count. So keep that in mind. If, let's say, you're on a budget and you're kind of thinking like, you know what? I'm only going to have 2. I'm going to satisfy the 2-drink minimum. Don't get a drink at the bar. Or maybe just grab like a water or something like that. Then at some point, basically, while you're basically hanging out there, they'll say, okay, everybody for this particular show, you get like a wristband on it, because obviously, again, there's 2 rooms, so there's different shows going on. They said, everyone line up. You want to get in line as soon as possible. They line up, I'd say, roughly about 10-ish minutes before the show starts, sometimes even 15. So I will say this, if you like say you do want to get an extra drink, you get a drink at the bar, and you're just talking and standing with friends, you might as well go to where the line's going to be starting. Even if they haven't said anything yet, you would start to see some people lining up, because obviously, as you can imagine, the people who line up first usually get better seats than people who don't. So keep that in mind. Like, when it comes to the rooms at the Improv, it's not like there's like special seating. It's just first come, first serve. Whoever gets in, you get in. And there's mainly 2 sections for the Improv room, especially on the bottom floor, for example. The first one is obviously right around the stage. You have like some, tables and chairs on the stage, and then there's this back area too. Now, when it comes to most comedy events, this is one thing you do have to keep in mind as well. If the closer you are to the stage, although it's better, right? I mean, who doesn't want to be closer? You have a higher likelihood of being called on, or the comedian either roasting you, which happens a lot, right? They do this all the time, where they see people and they just point at you and either roast you, make fun of you. They'll be like, oh, what do you do? Because there's some setup for this crowd interaction they're doing, right? So if you don't want to be disturbed, if like, look, I just want to see a comedy show, I don't want to talk to anybody, I don't want to have to deal with the crowd interaction the comedian's doing, just sitting back. Or another thing is, when you do get to that room and someone, like, say, starts to seat you, always ask the person where you want to sit. Like, because they don't really care. They're more just like, okay, they're going to ask you how many people. So, like, say it's you and a friend. You say, oh, I have 2. Just ask them, like, hey, do you mind if we sit closer to the front? I kind of want to be as close as we can. Or B, just say to them, hey, I don't want to be called on. Is there any way you could just put me in the back? And they'll gladly do that for you as well. So that's basically, the way it works, again, for the whole experience. Basically, you get there, you get your tickets, you hang out in the courtyard, you then go in the main, think of it like a lobby. You can snag a drink if you want, but remember, it does not count towards the 2-drink minimum. Then you start lining up. Again, if you want to be close to the stage, make sure you start lining up early. You then get inside, sit down, and watch an amazing show.